This is it. The time has arrived for season number 2 in the Aston Martin Road to Glory, and this is hopefully going to be the season that we really start to turn things around, move forward, and hopefully push on with this career mode, and fingers crossed actually challenge for some big results. Now, admittedly, it could be a slow start, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First of all though, guys, if you haven't seen the pre-season episode, all the updates, link in the top right. Spoiler warning ahead. So 3, 2, 1... Right, here we go then. A new year, and as you can see, team principal Mike Crack has said, we're going to struggle at first, but things will hopefully improve. Confirmation, once again, Fernando Alonso has walked away from Formula 1, which means there is going to be a vacancy, and that's going to be Alpine, which surprisingly got filled by Nicholas Latifi, and that also led to the big surprise. Sebastian Vettel returns from a 1-year hiatus to drop into Williams alongside Alex Albon, which is a pretty formidable lineup. That aside, weather forecast is dry, and here is the current kind of landscape regarding upgrades heading into the season. So guys, if you're going to enjoy this episode and the new season, leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel as I try to really do the best things for you guys on this one. And yeah, lastly, let's check in on upgrades. We have a major one for the ERS, which should arrive after Jeddah. There's a very short turnaround between rounds 1 and 2, so for round 3 in Australia we should have that ERS upgrade in the car. Here we are then in practice for the first time with the new car, new livery, and also you can see the new gloves, this time running a revised race suit as well, and just a few other tweaks here and there which you'll see in a moment. Here are my camera settings, which you guys often ask for, so feel free to copy those. And yeah, practice finished with pretty high tyre wear, 1.18, which is a bit of a concern. Admittedly, my pressures were a bit lower than maybe what I am going to run, so we'll try and fix that with some higher tyre pressures, but still a bit of a concern. Regardless, as you can see, here are the new race suits, which I love. They're quite different, quite bold. We've got a kind of like snake pattern running down the right leg, which is in the Aramco colours and also the colours of the car. We've brought in a bit of black on the gloves, the boots, the hats, just to kind of add a bit more to it, and also on the shoulders. And yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Hopefully you guys like it. Still keeping some fluorescent yellow highlights in certain areas. But yeah, into qualifying, into the new season. It's time for business to pick up, and we've kind of got through now the off season, but it's time to get serious and get back to work and hopefully start the season off in a good way. So here we are, Q1, soft tyres on our car for the first time, and properly driving this thing to the limit to see exactly where we really are. Admittedly, Bahrain isn't the best baseline because the AI are pretty strong here, and also this track does not suit our car or my driving style that well, especially this car, which is horrible on traction, and this car has a massive traction issue. So yeah, at the front corner we're going to clock in with our first time lap, and it's a 1:29.1, and to my surprise we're a country mile away from Bottas, nowhere even close enough. Like, we were a long way away. So alarm bell started ringing in my head. I went for a cool down lap, and we're now going to go for a second push just to kind of see if that lap was maybe as bad as I thought. You know, maybe there's a bit more pace to find. Who knows? We're going to find out as we make our way through turns 1, 2 and 3. And we was a 10th up, but then we go for a spin, which was a bit annoying, a bit frustrating, because I had no confidence on the back end of the car. Setup is good, it's on point, I've got no issues with the setup. It's what I ran in league racing, I know it works. So it is merely just a car. And yeah, right now we are not even in the same postcode in terms of, you know, being safe. So we need a pretty big shift on this last lap to have any chance of making it into Q2. So we'll give it everything and hope for the best. Minute and a half to go on the clock. Brake at 100. Down to third gear, clipping the apex. Could have broke a little bit later than that, but we'll take it. Smooth exit out of 2 and 3, and we're pretty much matching what we've done before up until that spin. Again, brake at 100 just before the curb, down to fourth gear. Broke a bit too early again, took a bit too much inside curb. We don't really want to touch the inside apex through there. However, we still gained a bit of time. Now plunging downhill through 5, 6, 7 as we try to hook up this section, and then into turn 8, the hairpin. Not too bad through there. Traction really nice out of here as we find a load of time, which is where I made a small error in my last lap. Turn 9, which feeds into turn 10. Absolutely perfect. Also, the traction is pretty decent as well. We find even more time, and we're 4 tenths up, so if we can find another 2 tenths, we might just actually get in the mix here for P15 if we can just find that bit of time. Through turn 11 though, I don't quite get the apex. I brake a bit too late, and I do find time, but there was a bit of time lost at the actual apex. Now through turn 13, good exit through there. Traction not so great, having a bit of oversteer, but we're half a second up, so depending on this final corner, this could make or break our lap. Braking just after the DRS detection point. Again, it's a bit too early and we get all over the inside curve, which you don't want to do, and we lose time. My reaction says it all as we cross the line and finish in 18th place. We improved by near enough, half a second, but we needed to find more time than that. So yeah, qualifying done, and also to kind of add insult to injury, the AI also found a similar improvement to me on their last run. So the gap basically stayed the same after both runs, and yeah, we're a bit off the pace. I'm not going to lie, we're struggling a little bit here. This could be a tough one. Hopefully though, the race pace is somewhat respectable and a bit better, and we can try to fight. It's not going to be easy, but we'll give it our best shot. We're not starting last. I know there's got that penalty, so we'll be starting at least 19th, unless there's any other penalties to be applied, but this could be a tough opener, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Months of rumour and speculation all comes to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best of course at turn 1 and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Carlos Sainz and Norris, Perez, Ricciardo, Magnussen and Alex Albon, Vettel, Latifi, Pierre Gasly and Mick Schumacher. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Joe, Esteban Ocon and Martinez. Bottas, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
So kicking off the new season with P18 on the grid. Not great, and that does a pretty big favour for us because we are a lot more off the pace than that, at least in qualifying. Anyway, for the race, I'm feeling optimistic. It's the first race, so let's get the positivity going. Let's try to feel optimistic. So, for this one, strategy is going to be the key one, along with setup. So, pressures, I was running a minimum in qualifying. Now we're running 2 on the front, 4 on the rear. Also, to go with that to help out and kind of help balance out the car, we're going to just tweak the diffs to 55 and 51. And also the fuel load is actually only at 0.2 extra. I feel like the car's more efficient than last season, so it should be consuming less fuel. So logically, this makes sense to me. Medium to hard, I was tempted to go for the hard tyre, but the pace just isn't there, so I want to try and stay in the race on the medium. So yeah, we're going to get into it. My wheel was fully working again, fully functional, so I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, let's get into it. Here we go. Time for the season opener. Building up the revs. And we're underway. Not the best start, but not terrible. Although Bottas and Tsunoda fly past, albeit on a set of soft tyres, so you kind of would expect that. I can see a few more soft runners in front. I see Stroll there on a set of softs. Gasly, Schumacher as well. We'll just try to stay alive. I'm not really too concerned. The guys on softs are in a bit of a different race right now. Main thing is trying to maybe get past the medium runners, so we'll have a look at that as Joe's a bit slow off the corner there, so we'll get him and knock him off. So that's 1 car down. But yeah, we'll try not to get too aggressive with the soft tyre runners and just look to maybe get some of the guys in the mediums as Bottas is going pedestrian pace through the hairpin. Zhou looking to fight back around the outside into turn 10. I'm just going to hold the inside and that should be enough. There we go. And yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a long race. Patience will be required, and also timing is everything, so making moves at the right times. But we'll try and stay with the pack. They're going to be using all the battery in the first 2 laps, so they'll be at their strongest then, so let's just try to do the best we can. But it does seem like there's a lot of soft tyre runners. That was actually the strategy I was offered originally, but then I changed it, so I hope this one pays off, because tyre wear is, you know, an issue here, so I'm hoping that we get rewarded for that in the long run. I've got to say, at the minute, things are looking pretty good. We're keeping up quite nicely here.
DRS is being enabled this lap. You can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
And that's the key thing right there. Now we've got the DRS. And those on softs aren't really making that much progress at this stage, so let's see. Let's try and maybe charge up the batteries and look for some possible overtakes. Oh, Stroll with a bit of a mistake. And that's just going to break the DRS train. There's been a few, I'd say, errors slash things happening, because what once was essentially a full DRS train has now started to break up in multiple places, so either cars making mistakes or issues starting to happen. One thing I can see is the Williams boys are quite high up. I think they're P11, P12, maybe even P10, P11 actually, but they're floating pretty high, and that is stopping the faster cars behind from making progress. I'm quite happy right now. I feel like we've got some decent pace, so we're just going to keep at it, trying to keep as much battery charged as possible for the key moments as Ocon gets a bit dicey with Tsunoda, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity here to maybe clear them both and get past another medium runner. 3 wide in the opener as we race down to turn 1. We'll brake relatively early, but just making sure we get the apex. These two are going side by side behind. Let's make sure we stay within DRS range here, very important as we need to race after Stroll and Tsunoda here. I think we've got a pretty decent race car here today. Not a great race car, I don't think we'll be challenging for any sort of points, but I think we can definitely climb some places. Personal best on that lap. Let's see how this all pans out. There's loads of battling ahead, and that is for the points, to be fair. So you never know how things could pan out. If all the soft runners are 2-stopping, that could also be a bit of a spanner in the works. Ocon here with the excellent run out of turn 1. Gonna have to just defend here. Doesn't quite commit, so we'll get back onto the racing line. Obviously Ocon's way faster than us, but we'll try and keep him there. I may have to let Ocon go, especially now the soft runners are pitting. If we want to maybe try and make some progress, he might be a good car to follow.
Lance is in for his stop.
This is when I think about the bigger picture though, so I'll make a judgment call when I feel like it, but it seems logical. If we want to make some progress, rather than Ocon follow me, I'll try and follow Ocon. I think that makes a lot more sense, so I'm going to try and make that happen now, and we'll see how that works out. We'll see if Esteban has enough pace to pull us along and play the long game basically.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
First warning for track limits. Not too concerned about that around here, but something to keep an eye on. Right, the remaining soft runners should be in, so we'll try to stick with Esteban now as best as possible. So let's get our head down and try to follow personal best. That's kind of what I mean, really. That's more like it in terms of pace. Floor damage, I think, through there. Very minor.
Okay, the underbody's taken some damage. You might start to notice it soon.
That was our pit stop lap, but Ocon stays out. So we're going to follow another personal best. The gap to Latifi's going up, by the way, which is great. Ocon pits, will stay out for one more. There's one issue, and that's the fuel. I've underfueled too much, so we're going to be in trouble this race. Unless I start to take my foot off the gas, which I can't really afford to right now. So we're a little bit relying on maybe a safety car or a virtual safety car to help us out.
Okay, we think the underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
More damage. Only minor. Anyway, let's try to nail the pit entry. Here we go. We'll take that. Yeah, we're not going to make it on fuel, guys. This is going to be a problem, but all worth a gamble for a few points, right? Missed my timing on the pull away there. Gutted. Right, so we're going to have to try and get these tyres warmed up. We'll see what we can do. Not going to be easy.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Almost pulled off a successful overcut there on Ocon. We're going to drop back now though on cold tyres. I'll see if I can try and keep Stroll out of DRS. I don't think I will. So the field is bunching up ahead quite a bit, to be fair. I don't know though if we're going to have the pace to catch up. Right now, Stroll's within DRS range. I'm not going to fight. I might actually let him go, and I'll see if I can recharge to 100%. Maybe even save a bit of fuel behind him and look to maybe push later on. Or maybe he can drag us towards the cars ahead. We'll see what kind of pace Lance has. Either way, I've got to try and fix this race a little bit. The gap's kind of floating around 4.5 seconds to the pack of cars ahead. I don't know if I have that sort of pace to catch, but at the moment I'm happy to sit here. We've got a full charge and fuel is coming back on target, but I'm just having to wait for the fuel to basically, you know, be positive before I can really do anything. So I'm trying my hardest to save, but it is a bit of an issue. I think once we're saved up on fuel, I'll try and make a push for it, but I think we're just a bit too slow, a little bit too little too late here all round. I don't know if we're going to make it. We need a few battles ahead to really make this thing a bit easier for us. I'm really struggling just to get this fuel back online. I'm using battery to kind of help me use higher gears and not lose momentum, but
Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
using no revs, trying to let the car coast. It's proving a real challenge, and it's definitely hamstrung us this race. I don't know if we would have caught or challenged the cars ahead, but we definitely could have pushed way more in this stint. Just going to try and get Stroll and finish ahead of him, and then hope for a miracle ahead. Second warning now, just trying to coast, picking up some understeer there. Not a big deal. Yellow flag. Nice in front.
Caution, caution.
Pierre Gasly with an issue, slowing down.
Okay, clear.
I think it's a bit too late for a safety car. Once Gasly pulls up. Could have done with that a couple laps ago, maybe a safety car would have come out, but it gives us a place. Okay, we've got the fuel to 0.03. We're going to look to pass Lance now and try to stay in front. He's now going to go full power mode, so it's important that we try to get him now. So here we go for P15. Not the highlight that I hoped for in this race, but still look to get Stroll. Can't be inside, leaving space as it is our teammate, and we get the DRS again. Brilliant. We'll take that. Let's bring this one home. And here we go then, last lap of the race. Pretty good pace, to be fair. Been impressed with the race car. It's been more encouraging than I thought, and I'm actually looking forward to Jeddah. Up to the line, P15, and a personal best across the line.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So there we go then, race done, and pretty much a race to kind of forget. Just wasn't our weekend, we wasn't really at the races or fast enough, but it's not really end of the world. We know there's better races ahead. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. Jeddah should be a stronger one for us. Anyway, here is your final results. Leclerc wins the opener ahead of Verstappen and Russell. Hamilton misses out on the podium with Perez P5 with the fastest lap. Norris P6, best of the rest ahead of Sainz. Ricciardo, Albon in the points for Williams in P9 ahead of Latifi in his Alpine debut in P10. Magnussen out of the top 10 along with Sebastian in his return to Formula 1. Ocon, Schumacher, myself, Lance, Tsunoda, Bottas, Zhou with Gasly the late DNF in that race. And standings wise, drivers of course not really important. The constructors though, we're second of the 0 point teams, if that's anything to go by. Williams up to 5th with a couple of points early on, and Ferrari early leaders. So yeah guys, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more. We're going to get straight back into it with round 2 at Jeddah, and yeah, we've got work to do to try and fight back. Upgrades as always at the start of the next episode, and yeah, as always, a big plug and shout out to the members. Cheers for supporting the channel guys, much appreciated as always. Check out the 2 videos on screen right now if you haven't seen them, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.